Hello everybody, welcome back. I'm doing something kind of cool today. It's just Chubby and Mr. Boopster for the filming of this part anyway. So, if you may remember, a while back we had opened a dollar store pack of cards, like this one, and we used that to determine who goes first. But we also learned that in each one of these you actually get a rare and 3 uncommons and the rest are commons, which, you know, is pretty much a magic pack. So what we decided to do was drop a few dollars on this. Oops. And what we're gonna do is a dollar store sealed. Somebody suggested this in the comments, but I kind of already had the plan in my head. So there were only 8 packs left, so I bought all 8. But there was also this, which is just 100 random trading cards. So what we're each gonna do is we're each gonna get 4 packs. Atkst 4 is over there, and half of this. And the reason that I'm here by myself and Atkst is gonna film his part by himself is so that we'd have no idea what's in each other's decks. So I've only ever opened one of these repacks. It could be the case that every single one of them is pretty much just has the same bulk rare in it and whatnot. So we might end up with the exact same deck, but I think that'd be kind of funny if we did. So yeah, so I'm gonna actually go through this first. Got my handy dandy scissors, and I think I'll take the one on the right because it feels right to me. And we're gonna see what we're gonna get, and I'm gonna build the deck in front of you here. I'll probably speed it up a little bit. So, of course, these, like any repack product, are in a completely random order. I actually don't know why I'm sorting these, because I'm going to be putting this into a deck already. Ooh, an old thing. I'm excited. Okay, so what I like to do first, for any of these, I'm just going to check... Ooh, 2 Gang of Devils right next to each other. I'm just going to sort by rarity first, because that'll let us know if we have any, like, bombing rares or anything like that. And probably speed this process up. So it actually seems like these are kind of in, like, a similar ratio that they are in here. We have our common stack, our uncommon stack, and our rare, which is Munda's Vanguard. And unless we open a bunch of allies, it's pretty much just a 5-mana 3/3, because its ability cannot be used. Because you have to tap an untapped ally you control. Part of the cost is tapping him, or her, or whoever it is. So you can't use itself to do that. It's a strong effect, but you need allies to make that work, so I don't know if it's going to. So it looks like we got a lot of black in there, and we also got a lot of red. We have 2 Gang of Devils, which seems reasonable. These things are so expensive. And a Burning Vengeance, which that's a play around me card. I don't think that's something we're gonna have probably in here, but anyway, I'm gonna wait until we open the rest of these first, and then we'll make our decision as to what kind of deck we're gonna play. It's just easier to open these with scissors. So our first pack, I will show the rare, but in terms of everything else, I don't think it's probably that important that you see much of it. Uncommons. Icy Blast, that's a rare. And another uncommon. And commons. Alright. Shockmaw Dragon might be interesting. Not sure what that does. That seems reasonable. Yeah, an Icy Blast is always kind of cool. We could be playing like mono dragons. That'd be pretty sweet. Because I've seen, I think, 2 dragons so far. So, uncommon, common. Common, uncommon. Oh, old rare. We have a Gurzagost. Beginning of your upkeep, sacrifice Gurzagost unless you put 2 cards from your graveyard on the bottom of your library. Wow, that's a weird stat. It's a 5-mana 6/8. Huh. Okay. And you can pay 2 green, discard a card from your hand, and have Gurzagost deal its combat damage to defending player this turn as though it weren't blocked. That seems pretty beefy. That seems pretty beefy. Maybe we can get that, what was that card called? Burning Vengeance deck going. Gurzagast, discard things that you then cast from your graveyard? I don't know. Probably not, would be my guess. Alright, 2 left. Okay, so common. This is not going to be fun to build, because this is just a bunch of random nonsense. We have Blinking Spirit, 4 mana 2/2, and you can pay 0 to return it to your hand, so it's a good blocker. Not very good on the stats, but that's alright. And these uncommons. So far, unsurprisingly, we have a bunch of bunky rares. Bunky? Is that a word? Bunky rares? Common. Uncommon. Common. Ooh, Urza block. Sweet. We have a Damping Engine, 4 colorless. A player who controls more permanents than any other cannot play lands or artifact, creature, or enchantment spells. That player may sacrifice a permanent to ignore this effect until end of turn. So it's like a really bad smokestack. Kind of. Huh, interesting. I don't think we're going to be playing that. Probably not. And a bunch of commons. Alright, so I'm going to sort these now by colors. And I'll probably speed up that process because you don't want to see me sitting here sorting for a long time. Gotta move Mr. Boopster off to the side. So I'm going to do that. Alright, so looking at this pool right now, yeah, it's about even on each, so we probably could play anything that we want, but I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through each of these piles now and sort out what I think is a playable card. This is kind of usually how I build a sealed deck, and then we will see you back here. Alright, so I've eliminated some cards. Some might make it back in if we absolutely have to, but I did sort out what I think is playable. So, okay, so white, normally I would not suggest playing these type of like creatures you control get +1/+1 till end of turn type cards, but I actually got quite a few of that type of effect. And I think it might, I don't know, like, it might be worth trying to go fast in this format, because if his packs are anything like mine, removal is going to be very scarce, it's going to be expensive, so it does seem possible that early beaters is the way to go, because he's not going to be able to do a ton of blocking. Also, white did offer me the most removal out of any of these, at least most reasonable removal, but here's the issue. Those are pretty much the only playable creatures in white. So, yeah. Can't be really fast with just white. Might have to combine that with something else. But white is looking pretty good. Like, we have those type of effects. If we can manage to get a lot of creatures, we might not. There's another one. We've got these removal spells. These removal spells. This one's cool because I actually, if I could build a human theme, right now, there's only 3 humans in white. Mr. Boopster. So this could actually also act as a pump spell, but basically these are like pacifism type effects. So, 4 removal spells in white, and 3 of these pump your team spells in white. Doesn't sound impressive, but again, I think these decks are going to be very underpowered. So that's what white has going for it. And of course, these are like, I guess that's a warrior too. Like, we could make a warrior theme, since we opened 2 of these, but basically I like this just because it's a bear that does something. Seems pretty good. This is a 3/1 for 2, of course, and that guy's just okay. So, that's what white offers us. Let's take a look at blue. Blue is not that deep either. So you got Icy Blast, which I think is playable. It's not great, but it's playable. We have Aerial Formation, which if we went with the small creatures theme, that seems pretty good. But probably won't be doing that by the looks of things. We have a Skuldkin. We need to go red for this to be good, or else it's just a 4-mana 2/2 flyer, which might be okay in this format, honestly, because everything looks pretty expensive. We have some more flyers, of course. These are just big dorky dudes that do some stuff. Bird's okay, but that's what blue has. Again, not a very deep pool. Black. I don't know if this card's good. It costs 10 mana, but it has Delve, and its target player sacrifices 2 creatures. Seems... Yeah. Some more removal in black. So black offers us 3 pieces of removal also, but if you take a look at the mana costs, 6, 6, 10. See what I mean? It's, yeah, that's gonna be tough to justify. We're just gonna have to hope that Atkst doesn't open a bunch of Doom Blades or, like, early removal spells that can clearly outclass any of mine. We also have 2 Daggerclaw Imps, which 3-mana 3/1 flyer, even though it can't block, is pretty beefy, pretty beady. We have this, which just seems pretty good. It drains for 2 immediately, and it's a 4-mana 2/2 flyer. And then we got this, which is also a 4-mana 2/2 flyer, but can be a 4-mana 4/4 flyer that can't block. So that seems pretty good. I really like all these cards. I don't know how I feel about these, but that's what black offers us. Red. So, big beefy dragon, it's always good. We got these, which are kind of removal spells. This is a removal spell, this is a removal spell, this is not, this probably isn't, and this is just a dude. So, it does give us 4, sort of. And I say sort of because Arrow Storm's obviously a removal spell. Tail Slash, sort of. I mean, it requires you to have a bigger creature than they have. And then these Gang of Devils have to actually die in order to deal 3 damage divided. Which, that seems okay. I mean, these seem like reasonable guys, but they also cost 6, which kind of sucks. And Shockmaw Dragon also costs 6, so this is like lining up to be pretty expensive. Chandra's Fury, I'm not sure how good this is. A lot of the creatures seem very underpowered here, so it's possible that this actually can kill some stuff. I'll keep it in mind. And then Fire Slinger just seems reasonable as a threat. So that's what red offers us. Moving on to green, we have this Grozzelgast. I'm not sure if this is good, because I don't know how fast you can actually fill a graveyard. Depends what you pair this with, but even if you can't, like if you can keep it alive 1 turn, for instance, or even like respond to the trigger by discarding a card to have that happen, and then be able to actually put the 2 cards, it seems pretty good for that. And 5 mana for a 6/8, it might be worth the risk. We have a Briarpack Alpha, that's pretty good, just in general. It can be a surprise threat, comes into play, useful later, rather. Takedown, I think Atkst is going to try and give some flyers in against me. That's just a hunch I have, so I actually like putting this in the main deck. Like 4 damage to a single flyer or 1 damage to each creature with flying seems pretty good. Trusted Force Mage, I trust that would be okay to play in the deck. 5 mana 4/4 with Trample is already pretty good in this slow format, but when it enters the battlefield, if a permanent you control left the battlefield, you can put 2 +1/+1 counters on it. So could be a 5 mana 6/6 with Trample, which that seems pretty good. Sentinel Spiders, always solid in limited formats. Vulpine Goliath, I like this card. It's got 6 power, it has Trample, costs 6 mana. Everything's expensive, so it seems okay. Plummet, again, I think I'm going to be facing down some flying things, probably. So we're going to have that in the section as well. And then we have Might of the Masses. This is if we wanted to go that the white route to kind of like swarm the board with cheap things. but I don't think we're going to end up with enough cheap things, especially in green-white, so that's probably not going to happen. Let's go through these. So, the thing that makes me want to choose to be black and red, other than the fact that our removal's alright in both those, we have these early flyers in black, which seem pretty good, and some of the red stuff is just, like, quite decent. Shockmaw Dragon's quite good. I like these Gang of Devils, even though they're expensive. But one of the main reasons I would ever consider doing that is Augur Spree is an insane removal spell in this format compared to the other stuff I've been seeing. Stuff that costs like 6 mana and might kill something. 3 mana will definitely probably kill something. Definitely probably? Yes. It will do something. This is okay. That's 3 colors. Like, if we end up in those 3 colors, fine, but eh. And Cross the Guild Mage just seems okay also, but I don't think we're probably... I mean, we might end up Jund, just because the pool is not that deep. Let's just put it that way. We are definitely in the shallow end. But that's what that gives us. In colorless, we have Rune Servitor. I like it. It's okay. It's an okay card. Magnifying Glass, if we should be wanting to ramp into stuff. It's not a very good ramp spell. The ability to investigate a bunch of times gives you something to do with all the excess mana, but if we're going for like big, expensive things, having this come down on turn 3 to get like a 5-drop next turn seems pretty good. Blazing Torch, I like this card a lot, not because of the can't be blocked part, but because you can basically shock something with the torch, which seems pretty good. It's a colorless removal spell. It's just really slow. Willforge Golem, 6 mana 4/4, but it has Convoke. Again, if we were able to do the early Swarm type of thing, this would be pretty good, because it could come down very early, or even possibly for free, but the pool doesn't look that deep for cheap creatures, so I don't know about that. Iron Tread Crusher, 4 mana 6/6, you have to crew, so that's crew 3. It seems okay. Depends how we go. And Traveler's Amulet's always just fine for fixing. We didn't really open any fixing because this is a weird format, so we probably will have to take what we can get for that. That's what colorless offers us. So, I am going to weigh these options. This would be a time, leave a comment what you think I should build, and then see after our little break if that's actually what I built or not. Alright, so this version of the deck is, interesting. I kind of like Augur Spree is, I think, a powerful enough removal spell that it's worth seriously considering doing this. I also have a pretty deep creature pool in here. I'm having to play some stuff that I originally didn't think was too playable, but it might be just make the cut in this deck. So we have Hate Weaver, it's just basically a 2 mana 2/1, and you might be able to pay 2 colorless to give a red creature, one of these, or one of the early ones, I guess, +1/+0 until end of turn, so that seems okay. And Crypt Keeper, just a 2/1, but you can exile target card from a graveyard. Not very good. So it's basically a 2 mana 2/1, but I think having cheap things is good, and then I can bring in Willforged Golem because I have enough of these like 1 mana, 2 mana, 3 mana things that I can actually possibly make that come down a little faster. So I put that as a 4. Not sure if it is. Maybe I'll put it there. Just make this look a little nicer. And this gives us a lot of removal. Dead Drop, I don't know if that's good enough. It seems to me like it might be okay because all the removal is going to be slow, but that seems like something that we're going to do. So I kind of like this. We have 23 somewhat playable cards, playable for this format anyway. But I do want to take a look at, I don't think I'm going for white. I just don't think there's enough to justify the quick creature plan in white. It's certainly not the Warriors plan. Like, I could pair it with black, I suppose, and then I'd get some of this mid-rangey stuff, but I don't think it's quite good enough. And blue just wasn't doing it for us. There's just not much in blue. Unless you go blue-red, in which case you get access to that one guy that's kind of okay. So I am interested in green, though. So I'm going to take a look at what a green build of this would look like. Probably green-black, because green has the top end, which is kind of taking over the red top end here. So we'll take a look at that. This is what green-black would look like. I had to put in a Renowned Weaver from the not playable section, but I actually don't think this card is terrible. So we had to take out the Hate Weaver, took out a Weaver for a Weaver, because that thing only cares about black things, or red and blue things, sorry. And at least this one does maybe something. I don't know, he might have a big flashback spell in his set or something like that. But this version of the deck, it gives us access to these early cards. I actually like Might of the Masses still, because we do have quite a few creatures. And in green, you actually get a few guys that get trample. Like that guy is trample, that guy is trample. So your bigger things can actually benefit. And we also have flyers, so Might of the Masses might actually be pretty good. Takedown, I still like. So I'm not too sure which of these I like better. I do want to play this Gurzagast. It really sucks having to lose out on the Augur Spree, but you can't really afford to splash with, like, what, a Traveler's Amulet is your only piece of fixing. So I think... I think I like this version a little bit better. It just seems to curve out a little nicer. Has some big guys, and I want to try out this Gurzagast. Yeah, the removal is a little less interesting in that it's very targeted, like you have to target flyers. Do I like the red version better? I think I like this one a little bit better. It just seems like some of the cards are a little more powerful. We lose out on a lot of spot removal, early removal, but I don't think there's much in this format, so I'm not too worried about that. You know, I think this is going to be the deck that I'm going to try. I do like the red version. Like, there are some pretty decent red cards, but I think this one might be a little bit more powerful. It also sucks losing out on that dragon. But, ooh, actually, this gives us access to, I forgot all about this card, Karaz the Guildmage, which seems pretty sweet, actually. So I'm going to take out a Crypt Keeper for that. Well, actually, maybe I should take out something up here. I'm going to move Plummet to the sideboard, because I don't know for sure what I'm going to be facing. And I think Takedown's a little better. Alright. I think we got a deck. Now we just have to add some lands. So, you don't really need to see me do that, I guess, because I gotta go fetch which lands I want. But basically, I count the green symbols. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. 13 green symbols. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 11 black. So we could probably go 8 and 9. 9 green, 8 black. Something like that. Seems about good. So I'm going to fetch that out, and now we will see you with Atkst's part.
My half of whatever these are going to be. It could be a treat, we have no idea. So we should leave the 100 for last and start with the actual packs. From Mr. Boopster for luck. And they're kind of just in half. Okay. Got some Battle for Zendikar. M14. Aether Revolt. Ooh, Mirrodin Besieged. Just all kinds of places. Dragons. Ooh, look at that. Our first uncommon is a Swooping Talon. From I'm not sure what set that is. Dragons, Fate, Innistrad, M14 again. There's our rare Tyrant of Valakut. A little newer than I was wishing for. Modern Masters, second uncommon. Shifting Loyalties. Did we only get 2 uncommons? I think we only got 2 uncommons. Look at that. Second pack. First uncommon, Argent Mutation. Our rare, Blessed Reversal. You gain 3 life for each creature attacking you. That's not a very good rare. It's whiteboarded though, which is sweet. Glimpse of Sun God is our second uncommon. I guess we're only going with 2 uncommons for these packs. Good to know. Third pack. Right, we gotta rub Mr. Boopster for luck. First uncommon, Phyrexia's Core. Our rare is Chandra's Phoenix. That's actually a pretty decent card. Second uncommon is Second Guess. Third uncommon, Rise from the Tides. Look at that, breaking the 2 uncommons. Fourth uncommon, look at this pack. This is great. We're learning from the past. A Feast of the Unicorn. Nice. It's probably not a good card, but it's got a sweet name. And 4 uncommons. What more could you ask for? These are amazing. The last of the packs. First uncommon is a Tethmos High Priest. Our rare is a Gurzigost. A 5-mana 6/8. At the beginning of your upkeep, sacrifice him unless you put 2 cards from your graveyard onto the bottom of your library. And you can discard a card from your hand to have it deal combat damage to defending player this turn as though it weren't blocked. Ha. Ha. 2 rares! Yes! Chronos Avant, it's a 6-mana 5/5, and you can return it from the graveyard to play tapped and skip your next turn. I like it. Catacomb Slug. Did we get? No. Oh, we got 1 uncommon. I mean, that's a fair trade. 1 uncommon, but 2 rares. It's pretty acceptable. And now for the pack of 100 that could be anything. Oh my. There's not going to be a clean way to organize this. Goblin Balloon Brigade. It's a fun card. Is it a good card? Probably not. Here's an uncommon. Lotus Eye Mystics. Followed by Morale. I have no idea which. 2 Morales. I guess Morale is very high here. 2 uncommons in a row. Pathway Arrows. And Slab Hammer. Another uncommon, a Haunted Guardian. Here's a rare, a Dragon Scale General. Bolster some things. We get an island. It's very good. And a swamp. And a mountain. Good to know. Another uncommon, a Tower Geist. Another uncommon, a Briarpack Alpha. Swarmborn Giant. Double up on the Harsh Deceivers. All commons at the end, I guess. And only a single rare in these 100 cards by the looks of it. It's an uncommon. Defy Death. It's only one rare in the total of the 100 cards, and we got a pack that had 2 rares. I have no idea how we're going to construct a deck out of this. Let's go see. So, for playable rares, we got 2 in red. This green guy doesn't really cut it as a playable rare. And then I guess we got this guy in white. This guy could maybe do something, just 6 mana 5/5 could be something. And this doesn't really do anything, so it's also not playable. So at least we have this. We could maybe make a red-white deck. I know, it'll depend where our removal is, I suppose. So let's check that out. So, for removal, white doesn't get anything. Blue has this single claustrophobia. Black gets the most. We have 3 removal spells, playing such great things like this Fume Spitter, Heartstabber Mosquito, which is actually pretty playable, and an Orzhov Enthusiast, sort of, as long as you can deal damage to something first. And yeah, that's all they get. Still, 3. And then in red, we have Chandra's Fury, which really, it's 1 damage to all their things and 4 damage to them. So it doesn't really deal with too many things. And because we're really scraping the bottom of the barrel, this Terrifying Presence could be a removal spell, since it prevents all combat damage except what 1 creature would deal. I have no idea what kind of deck we're going to make. Since we have 1 spell that could potentially return this. We can maybe just go big. I mean, I guess he's kind of a removal spell, assuming we played Surge, but I don't know, we're going to be scraping the bottom of the barrel here. So let me see if I can figure out what I actually want to do. So this Tethmos High Priest has a few cards that are actually pretty good to return. And we kind of have a lot of the enchantments and things that we could target them with to trigger it. So maybe going like a Boros mid-range would be acceptable. Of course, though, we have no 2 mana or less red creatures, so that may not be acceptable after all. Another heroic creature in black, and Fume Spitter is also another good card that we could return with the High Priest. Just repeatable removal. Look at that synergy. My god, I think this is what we're going with. An Orzhov aggro list. Let's see what we can pull out from it. So I think this is the list we're going to be going with. So I guess I can go over why I chose some of the cards, even though, I mean, we're kind of scraping the bottom of the barrel here. Fume Spitter seems great. He can deal with 1 toughness creatures. We could recur him with our Tethmos High Priest, which is always great. Repeatable removal potential is good. And he's just he's a 1 mana 1/1. Our first heroic card, it's a 2/1. It gets a +1/+1 counter. And you get to remove a +1/+1 counter from an opponent's creature. Probably doesn't matter in this format, but hey, he can at least grow himself. A 2 mana 2/2 with flying is just amazing, especially in this kind of format. That's great. Good old tapper. It's not removal, but it's basically removal. Just requires a bit of upkeep, and in this kind of format, it's probably going to be an all-star. Herald of Dromoka. It's a 2/2, it has vigilance. It gives vigilance to a few of our other creatures. It probably doesn't matter though, but he's mostly a bear. Tethmos High Priest, probably the best card in our deck. Heroic, he gets to recur all of these guys again. Mostly he just wants to play with Fume Spitter, but hey, sometimes he'll get to play with the other guys too. Knight of the High Road, he's not amazing, but the potential for a 4/3, always acceptable. Orzhov Enthusiast. This card, having never played this limited format, I don't know how good he's going to be. Or I guess I never played the Ravnica limited format, so I have no idea how easy it's going to be to trigger this Haunt ability, especially since we haven't really built for it, but there's the potential that he might do something, and a 3 mana 2/2 and with the cards that we got is pretty acceptable baseline. Blind Zealot. Another removal spell. I didn't go over this at first because I thought it was the discard cards one, but no, if it manages to hit, we can sacrifice it to destroy a creature he controls, so that'll be great. One of the rares in our deck, Dragon Scale General. He gets the Bolster X, where X is the number of tapped creatures, so he can potentially make a giant thing, and with the removal I've got, assuming Chubby has a similar thing, he might actually stick around to do things. Charging Griffin. He's a 3/3 flyer when he's attacking, which is pretty acceptable. Lotus Eye Mystics. It's a 3/2 with prowess for 4 mana, but when it enters the battlefield, it can return some auras, and we do have a few of them, so that is a potential that could actually happen. And prowess works rather well for targeting something with a heroic. He gets a pump too. Heartstabber Mosquito will be great. He's probably never getting cast for 4 mana, but when we cast him for 7 mana, he gets to kill something, which is what we want him to be doing. And an Unyielding Krumar, because, hey, we're playing both of those colors, so a 3/3 first striker for 4 mana is pretty good potential. Of course, the Chronos Savant, he's probably not actually playable, just skipping 5s altogether and going straight to 6 mana for a 5/5. But he can return himself in the case that we're both top decking or something. He's probably not the greatest, but he's got such a weird ability that I wanted to put him in. Glimpse the Sun God seems great for that last push of damage. Taps up to X creatures. Pretty good late game. Cruel Feeding. Help our heroic creatures. Gives us a bit of life from the lifelink. Yeah, just good times. Valor Made Real is kind of one of our filler slots. Target creature can block any number of creatures this turn. We don't really have a death touch or anything exciting to target with this, but it's still a heroic trigger, potentially. And the other one that I had, we have a white mana untap, which doesn't seem very exciting. So for 1 mana white instant that basically only works with heroic, Valor Made Real. Scourge Mark is one of our enchantments. Enchanted creature gets +1/+0, but it draws us a card when we enter it, so kind of replaces itself. We got a Battle Horns. Equipped creature has trample, can only be blocked by 1 or more creatures. Pretty good. I mean, we have like our 5/5, but not too many things that work with it. It's just a nice card to have. Butcher's Glee. It's another pump spell, it gives them lifelink, it regenerates them, so they'll probably survive combat. And the heroic trigger's nice. Feast of the Unicorn gives +4/+0 for 4 mana, which isn't great, but it's called Feast of the Unicorn. So, getting included. Gotta eat those horns. And 5 death, 5 mana, we can recur a creature. Yeah. So I think this is the deck we're going with. Will it be great? I have no idea, because I don't know what's coming out of Chubby's list, so I guess we'll have to see in the games.